Hey everybody, Dave Shinskie at Baseball Rebellion here. This week's breakdown, I'm going to do Michael Kopech of the Boston Red Sox. He's 20 years old and one of the top prospects in the minor leagues. He recently went to the Arizona Fall League and has had a pretty good showing with 4 starts. Went 1-0 with 1.93 ERA. He had 18 strikeouts in 14 innings and only 1 walk. I mean, that's a pretty good showing out in the Arizona Fall League, facing the best, supposedly the best hitters in the minor leagues. It's interesting to me because in 2016, from low A to high A, he had 143 innings this year, 87 strikeouts, and 33 walks. So kind of a high ratio strikeout to walks. But in the Arizona Fall League, showed that he can command his fastball. And throwing 96 to 100 and even clocked at 105 this year, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. He's a young kid. He's 20 years old. He's drafted out of high school, Mount Pleasant High School in Texas. This year he had an ERA of 2.25. Again, he has 33 walks this year and 86 strikeouts. I'm going to go over his mechanics here, side view and front view, see what he does well, what he needs to work on, his inconsistencies, and why I think he throws so hard, and what he can do better. Starting off with his leg lift, as he comes up into his leg lift and starts his drive, all right? I want you to take a look at his hip. I would say his glute, his back glute drive, his knee, and his ankle. Okay, so here at Baseball Rebellion, we try to talk about a sideways V or a greater than sign, and getting to that greater than sign in our leg drive. So as he starts to drive down the hill, he does exactly that. So I'm going to pause it here and put a dot at his head, his front hip, and his back foot, and I'm going to fit that curve, and you see how he's really getting to that good greater than sign, sideways V type of positioning. And again, it's that first initial drive of the ankle, and I would say it's the glute going first into the knee and ankle. But he gets to a really good position here, and I really like the way his upper body stays back. He gets into what I call this hug a tree position, where he gets into like a circular motion with his hands, and he really stays there. He doesn't really jerk his arm up. He doesn't elbow hike a lot. He's got a little bit of elbow hike, but into foot strike. This is interesting right here. I want you to see how close he is to the ground right here and where the ball is positioned. You don't think he's going to be able to get up into that 90 degree position that we talk about in our breakdowns, but somehow this next frame he really gets up into that 90. Now, I mean, I went 2 frames, 3 frames there, and it just clicked over, but again, this is a really good position in the foot strike. Now I'm going to split this screen really quick and show you what I mean with this this glute drive, and also the way he gets into foot strike. Okay, so I'm going to put a line at his glute right behind his glute here, and as he starts to drive down the hill, I want to show that he gets past or down that line with his glute drive, and really stays into that motion down the hill into foot strike. And again, he's at 90 degrees behind his head, because I could see the ball right behind his head here. And again, we talk about these positions, and they're pretty good, but I don't see anything that indicates that this guy is throwing 105 miles an hour. But sometimes it's God gifted. He's getting to really good positions, and one thing I want you to look at is how long his levers are. All right, so from his elbow to his wrist, is, I mean, I'd love to measure to see how far and how big his elbow to his wrist is, because I just think this guy has really long levers. He does get his hips open fairly well with his Winston-Salem or his Salem jersey facing towards the camera, which tells me that he's not opening up his front shoulder. Same thing is happening in the one on the right. And let's watch into drive forward. Okay, so the linear move with his chest forward to see if his knee goes forward just a little bit. You see his knee go forward a little bit and then retract back. All right, this is again a sign to me that I really just don't know how he throws this hard, and I just hope that the more innings he throws, I know he's a young kid, but the more innings he throws at this speed, putting this much stress on his external rotation in his elbow, along with his back foot coming up, I think that's just involved in his inconsistencies. So, if he were to watch this, that's what I would tell him. I would say, let's try to brace up that front leg a little bit better into your throw. Sorry, excuse me, into your throw. But again, he's a big guy with big levers, and I think that's how he just gets out in front very well, and his chest keeps moving towards the target. Now, again, he comes off of the rubber fairly soon, so I would want him to try to work on staying connected a little bit better through the throw. And there's a lot of reasons why guys come off the rubber, and one of them is this closing off of themselves. So when I say close off, so I want to see, this is pretty straight on, I would say, this camera angle, and you can see where his front toe is compared to his heel. He's landing outside of his front toe with his front foot. So again, he's throwing across his body, which is really hard to hit especially if you're a right-handed hitter. It looks like the ball's coming at you, and with a really hard slider and hard fastball, man, he's going to break a lot of bats and get on a lot of guys. So I think that's how he gets himself out of some trouble when he gets guys on base from walking them. It is just creating this deception and getting some ground balls to get some double plays. So moving forward, I think he has a few things to work on, but man, for a big kid, strong kid, and he's confident as well. I saw him in some interviews. He's a guy that is really confident in himself and confident in his abilities to get guys out. So that's what you need to make it to the big leagues, and he has that. So into his finish, really good job. I think this is another reason why he throws so hard, is because he's literally past his front hip with his front shoulder, staying connected with his head very well, into a good brace up. Like I said, he could work on the initial foot strike and go with his front chest, or with his chest and into his front leg, but he really gets over his front leg with his chest and drives out there through his finish really well. So again, strong kid, big levers, good mass equals velocity. Okay, so he goes into the fall league and goes into this next year with a ton of confidence. I think he just needs to get a little bit more consistent with the way he comes off the rubber with his back foot, and also just closing himself off. So there's a few things to work on, but throwing 96 to 100 with the high of 105 is not too shabby going into the 2017 spring training. I'm sure you'll see this guy in the big leagues in the next year or so, if not next year, pretty early. So keep a lookout for Michael Kopech. This has been Dave Shinskie with the Baseball Rebellion Breakdown. Thank you.